So finish here, Arsenal 1, Leicester 1. Disappointing in the end for Arsenal, having led for so long. Jamie Vardy getting a late equaliser for Leicester. Probably they will feel they deserve. They certainly were much improved in the second half, Leicester. Arsenal couldn't quite maintain the form they showed in the first half, and they were very, very good. Obviously scored the goal through Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. 20th Premier League goal of the season for Aubameyang. Really nice goal as well. They had actually started pretty slowly, I thought, Arsenal, and up to that point, but then they scored the goal on 20 minutes. Really good move. Danny Ceballos, fantastic pass to Saka. Saka got in down the right, crossed it in for Aubameyang to tap it in at the back post. And from that moment on, they played really, really well. It was probably the best 25 minutes I think they played under Mikel Arteta. They just couldn't get that second goal. A couple of really good chances for Lacazette. The first one was a very good save from Schmeichel. But the second one, Lacazette should have done better from. It was a lovely cross from Bellerin into the back post, and Lacazette attacked it at speed so he could generate some good power, but he headed it straight at Schmeichel, and he really should have done better with it. And it was a costly miss that you felt like if Arsenal got the second goal, they would have gone on and won this game pretty comfortably, but they didn't get it. And then the game turned in the second half when Leicester were much improved. Arsenal seemed to tire a little bit. They've had a lot of games in the last 3 weeks, and they did seem to tire a little bit. And Eddie Nketiah, he came on to give sort of fresh legs for the last 20 minutes. Got himself sent off just 4 minutes after coming on. For a tackle on James Justin, who was initially given as a yellow card by referee Christopher Kavanagh, but then he was advised to go and have a look on the screens here by VAR, and he went and checked the screens and decided to upgrade it to a red card. Arteta wasn't very happy. He was right next to the referee, obviously, while he was looking at the screen. He wasn't happy with the decision, nor were some of the Arsenal players, but I think when you look at it at the replay, it's not surprising Nketiah got sent off. It was a high foot. I mean, it looks miles worse when it's slowed down on the replays. He didn't mean to do it. But when it was slowed down on the replays, it looked pretty bad, and I'm not surprised it was given as a red card from Nketiah. Arteta is just down there at the moment speaking to the various media. He'll be talking to us soon in his press conference when he's done talking to the TV down on the pitch side, and he doesn't look too happy at the moment, so it'll be interesting to see what he's got to say about it. But yeah, I mean, it was frustrating, I think, for the Arsenal, but I think in the end the draw was probably just about a fair result. I think, as I said, Arsenal very good in the first half. Leicester much improved in the second half, and they got the goal through Vardy right at the end when Arsenal were down to 10 men. And in the end, Arsenal are hanging on a little bit because, like I said, they were beginning to look tired. But Leicester are a decent team. Arsenal on a very good run of form coming into this game, and if they'd have stayed with 10, 11 men on the pitch, maybe they would have gone on and won this one, but instead they've had to settle for a point ahead of Sunday's game against Tottenham. I'll just quickly go through my player ratings for the game before Mikel Arteta at his press conference, which should be coming up fairly soon. So I'll go over my player ratings for it. Let me just get the team sheet here. Emi Martinez in goal. Again, really good from Martinez. Everything he did well. He'd be really frustrated that he conceded the goal at the end, but he couldn't have done anything with it. It was a close-range finish from Vardy from Damari Gray's cross. But he made some good stops, Martinez, when he needed to claim the ball. It's really horrible. It's still absolutely hammering it down here. You can probably hear the rain banging on the roof ahead of me, above me. But really awful conditions for a goalkeeper. But he played really well, Martinez. So I'm going to give him a 7. Hex Bellerin, I don't know. He's back in the side today for Cedric Suarez, who was rested. I'm just not convinced of Bellerin. He's not hitting the sort of form that we saw before the injury at the moment. He had some good moments. Like I said, he put in a great cross for Lacazette, which Lacazette should have done better with in the first half. But still, there was some opportunities there when you think a really fit and firing Bellerin would have done more with it down the right-hand side. So I'm going to give Bellerin a 6. Kieran Tierney, I thought, played well. He linked up pretty well with Aubameyang down the left. I'm going to give Kieran Tierney a 7. Danny Ceballos in the heart of midfield, I thought he was fantastic. Again, the pass he played to sort of set Saka away in the build-up for Aubameyang's goal was just fantastic. Wonderful Pass from Ceballos, and there were some really good moments. In that 25 minutes when Arsenal were great before half-time, I thought Ceballos, he was everywhere. He's pulling the strings, just excellent. So I'm going to give Danny Ceballos my man of the match. I'm going to give him an 8. Granit Xhaka alongside midfield, I thought played really well. Not quite as influential as Ceballos, certainly not in the attacking third, but I thought he played pretty well, although he did look to tire a little bit in the end. I'm going to give Xhaka a 7. Mustafi and Luiz, I'm going to give them both 6 in defence. I thought they played well. I mean, Mustafi was really in the wars. He took a nasty kick in the face from Vardy, left him some real sort of scars down the side of his face as well. Also went down in the penalty area in the second half. Slight appeals for a push for Arsenal for a penalty, but it wasn't given. But Mustafi was hurt by that as well, so he was in the wars. Fair play to him, and I thought he stood up pretty well. Him and Luiz, I'm going to give those two both a 6. I'm going to go with Kolasinac last in defence there. I thought Kolasinac was a bit shaky at times, as he has been since he's been playing on that left side as centre back. So I'm going to give Kolasinac a 5. I thought he was a little bit shaky, and Leicester certainly seemed to target him a little bit when they did attack down that side. In terms of the front three, I thought they were all excellent in that 25-minute period just before half-time. As I said, they linked up. The movement was so good. The combinations between Lacazette, Aubameyang and Saka were excellent, with Ceballos pulling the strings behind them. Lacazette will be disappointed with those missed chances, though, in the first half. But I thought overall Lacazette had a really good game. I thought, especially in that first half, I was saying he was a real sort of focal point in the central areas, linked up really well, and had a decent game. Just finishing let him down at times in that first half, which will be disappointed with. I'm going to give Laka a 7. I'm going to give Auber a 7 as well. Took his goal really well, worked really hard, ran himself into the ground, especially after Nketiah got sent off. He did all he could, but he was just ploughing a lone furrow out there by that time up front, with Arsenal dropping deep and trying to protect their lead. So I'm going to give Aubameyang a 7. And Saka as well, I'm going to give a 7 of great play for the goal. Sent Johnny Evans for a hot dog, as they say. Johnny Evans left on the floor as he went one way, turned the other. Great pass in for Aubameyang. Real composure for a youngster. He's now got 16 either goals or assists this season, level with Nicolas Pepe. Only Aubameyang more. And when you think that he's just a teenager, it's a fantastic season from Saka. So I'm going to give him a 7. But yeah, my man of the match, Danny Ceballos, I thought was excellent. I'll just run through the substitutions. Unfortunately, Nketiah came on 71 minutes, sent off in 75 minutes, so he had an absolute shocker. You can't really give him anything. I'm not going to take points off for give him a really low mark because of the sending off, because I thought he was unlucky. He didn't mean it. It was just he thought the ball was there to one. It was just a fraction late, and it looked really bad on TV. So, but I'm not going to slate Eddie for that at all. So I'm not going to give Eddie a mark, because I think you can't really give him a rating on that. Joe Willett came on. I think I'm just going to have to give all the subs a 5. Lucas Torreira came on. Joe Willett came on. But it was just really tough at that point for any of the substitutes. So I can't really score any of the subs above a 5, just because it was a really tough situation for them to come in on, with Leicester piling forward and Arsenal down to 10 men. So they're my ratings for today. Overall, like I said, a feeling of frustration really, that Arsenal couldn't quite hang on and get the win, which would have been their 5th in a row in all competitions. But I still think there were signs of progress there, especially that spell in the first half, really, really good. And you can see what Arteta wants his team to do, and it really clicked for that 25 minutes. Unfortunately, Arsenal can't produce 90 minutes performances at the moment. Arteta has admitted that himself. And again, they just ran out of steam in the second half, and then that combined with Nketiah's sending off, I think Leicester took full advantage and probably just about deserved their equaliser. So from the Emirates, it's Arsenal 1, Leicester 1.